Since the 19th century, the devotion of the Holy Hour has been widely practiced in the Church. But what is its origin? What fruits can it bear in our lives? Brother Diego Dall'Gassa in Gethsemane, Jerusalem, helps us enter into this mystery.
Questo giardino che noi vediamo, potremmo dire che questi alberi che noi
This garden we see, the very trees we touch with our hands, tell us the story of the Holy Hour's origin. These trees listened to Jesus' invitation to his disciples, the disciples of yesterday and forever. Stay here with me, watch and pray. This is the heart of the Holy Hour, Jesus' desire that we remain close to him, a desire expressed in that very night.
Nasce dal suo desiderio qui, che lui ha espresso in quella notte.
Jesus withdrew with them to a place called Gethsemane and told them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee with him and began to be sorrowful and distressed. Then he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me."
È come se lui ci invitasse a non entrare nel buio da soli.
If he invites us to avoid entering the darkness alone, it is because Jesus knows what we are made of. He knows our weaknesses. How often in our own lives do we look at our current situations, events, and conflicts, even current wars, through our own limited eyes? We run the risk that evil, confusion, and darkness will enter into us, stealing our light and the promise of his presence within our history. Jesus tells us to watch and pray, so we do not let evil gain dominion over us. In a broader sense, watching and praying allow us to fulfill God's will. For Jesus says here, "Not my will, but yours, O Father, be done."
Il dominio su di noi. Dentro un contesto molto più ampio, potremmo dire che il vegliare e il pregare ci permette di compiere il volere di Dio, perché Gesù qui dice: "Non la mia, o Padre, ma la tua volontà sia fatta." Questo luogo viene chiamato luogo dell'agonia di nostro Signore Gesù Cristo.
This place is called the place of the agony of our Lord Jesus Christ. Agony comes from the Greek verb meaning, quite literally, a place of struggle, the place where the Lord fought. Paraphrasing the verse from Psalm 35, "In your light we see the light," we could say, "In your struggle we are reached, and our own struggles find meaning. In your prayer we are reached." This does not mean we are good at praying, but that in our small battles and our small prayers, we are reached by the prayer he offered to the Father here. We are reached by the battle he fought against evil, so that we could be close to God. Looking at this garden, Gethsemane, Gat Shemanim, which in Aramaic/Hebrew means oil press, we see how many people find themselves reached by this place. We can say, "In your Gethsemane, we find our own Gethsemane."
Pressoio dell'olio, potremmo dire quante persone si ritrovano raggiunte da questo giardino. Potremmo dire ancora, nel tuo Getsemani, il nostro Getsemani. Ed è una tradizione antica che
It is an ancient tradition that, through mystics such as Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque in France and others, Jesus asked us to live the holy hour, to spend an hour of prayer with him.
L'ora santa, di vivere un'ora di preghiera con lui.
Devotion to the heart of Jesus is ancient, but its spread is largely due to Saint Margaret Mary Alacoque and the apparitions she experienced in the 17th century. Speaking of Gethsemane, Jesus told her, "It is here, in this moment, that I suffered interiorly more than in all the rest of my passion, for I felt a total abandonment from both heaven and earth. I felt burdened by all the sins of men. To unite yourself to me in the humble prayer I presented to my Father amidst all those anguishes, you will rise from 11 p.m. until midnight to prostrate yourself for an hour with me." Thus, the devotion of the Holy Hour was born.
Noi qui la viviamo in un modo molto semplice. Ogni primo giovedì del mese ci ritroviamo insieme, esponiamo il Santissimo Sacramento e leggiamo il Vangelo. Ascoltiamo lo
Here
stesso
we live it in a
Vangelo
very simple way.
che
On the first Thursday of every month, we gather, expose the Blessed Sacrament, and read the Gospel. The same Gospel that recounts Jesus' desire. Stay here with me, watch and pray. We listen to the Gospel, interspersed with moments of silence. It connects us to that Thursday, that night when God acts and repeats himself. We enter into that invitation. We do it simply, by listening to the Gospel, standing in silence before him, and letting ourselves be interpreted by Jesus' words. Sometimes there is a temptation, perhaps not only for us priests or friars, to have the presumption of reading the Word. But it is not we who read the Word. It is the Word that reads us and comes to our aid. That is what living the Holy Hour is, letting ourselves be reached by Jesus' desire.
Avere la presunzione di leggere la parola. Non siamo noi a leggere la parola, ma è la parola che legge noi e viene in nostro soccorso. Così è, per esempio, vivere l'ora santa, lasciarci raggiungere dal desiderio di Gesù.
He went a little further, threw himself to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." Then he returned to the disciples and found them sleeping. He said to Peter, "Could you not keep watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray, so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak."
Dunque è vero che da quell'invito che Gesù ha fatto qui, in questo luogo,
It is true that Jesus' invitation, made here, is an invitation to everyone who desires to gather and live that desire of his. While it is wonderful to gather together, the most important thing is that each of us feels personally invited. Stay here with me. Feel it personally and communally. If you can, reach out to your local parish to organize or promote a holy hour. Why not? At the same time, I am speaking to those who may be unable to attend, such as the elderly, those in hospitals, the sick, or those who are traveling. The importance lies not in when or where you are, but in the fact that you dedicate that hour to the Lord. Whether you are on a train, at home, or elsewhere, live that moment of encounter and prayer. You are in communion with this place. It is not you who creates the Gethsemane reaches you. It is not you who invents the Lord, it is the Lord who takes hold of you and your life. A sweet, humble presence that asks only for love, for he is in need of love. As St. Francis would say, love is not loved.
Umile che chiede soltanto amore perché lui ha bisogno di amore. San Francesco direbbe: l'amore non è amato.
For Saint Alphonsus Liguori, Doctor of the Church, the Holy Hour is an exercise of recognition and gratitude, and an exercise of prayer, since the human will is fragile if not supported by prayer. The Holy Hour is an exercise of love through which the soul, the interior life of a person, is ignited by the fire that burns in the heart of Jesus.
Vivere l'ora santa per ciascuno di noi significa vivere.
For each of us, the holy hour means living a moment of prayer, standing beside the Lord, and calling upon His presence right where we are. The places of the Holy Land are the fifth gospel, and this site is a part of that. But the Holy Land that Jesus prefers is the heart of each one of us. We are the Holy Land. The Lord desires to dwell right where you are. He wants us to make space so that He may enter.
Siamo noi la Terra Santa e dunque il Signore desidera abitare lì dove tu sei, desidera che noi possiamo fare spazio perché Lui possa entrare.
Open yourself to a gesture of solidarity and support the mission of the Custody of the Holy Land. The Christian Media Center spreads the good news of Jesus by making known to the world the spirituality of the holy places and the lives of the Christians who live here. Your contribution will help us bring the proclamation of the risen Lord, the most urgent of all, to men and women of every language and nation. To help us concretely, open the QR code. Your choice makes a difference.